You guys really are cowboys.
What's your problem, Kazansky?
You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Nice, man.
First time on air. Anything to say to Luan here to get him back?
Look, bro, there are stories I could tell people about Luan, but we'll keep those right here. I'm gonna let them live.
That's not even close. It's not
Man, I'm a dumbass.
I'm clipping that.
Georgia's second.
Hey, Georgia also had Herschel Walker.
So smart, and my team is so dumb. My coach he looks dumb. He's a big baby. This man
Those graphics.
Rip, so smart.
Episode 236. R.I.P. the Iceman, Val Kilmer. Started watching Tombstone today, me and Lorenzo, and he was locked in on that thing, man. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this with him. But
I didn't know like that movie was a cult classic, so to speak. I remember it would show up on cable down there, but I didn't know it was like a significant movie.
yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't either. Like, I remember like watching as a kid, but not really like. It wasn't in my top 100, probably not even top 500 movies. But I put it on today, and I was like, man, it's pretty damn good. Yeah, I was locked into it. And then, yeah, I was like, yeah, little man probably should have watched this. They shoot off the Mexican army, run off with the wife. And I'm like, yeah, this is bad. Bad teaching. But he liked the cows, man. He was in on those cows. Big episode. We got torpedo bats. And I'm a big fan of those suckers, man. I love them. More home runs. I need more of them. We've got Trae Young. We got Melo making the Hall of Fame. We've got Final Four men's and women's. It's a good week, boys. It's a good week of sports.
Yeah.
Masters, is that?
That's not this week.
It's next weekend, right?
It's next week.
Yep.
It's always after Final Four.
That's right. Man, what a month April is. We get the draft after that.
I just realized I didn't pack my shorts, boys.
Damn.
Fitz is doing the pod pantless, so it's one of those type of shows.
I gotta get some dang. I gotta go get my shorts.
Subscribe.
I gotta go home and get my basketball shorts.
The Panther
It's
feature.
in Space Jam. Space Jam tells Bugs Bunny, he's like, someone's gotta go home and get my Carolina shorts.
There it
Michael
is.
Stewart stuff.
The weekly quote.
The
Yeah.
weekly close.
Start off early. All right. Let's do we want to start with Final Four? Is that we want to start with the meat and potatoes here? Yeah.
Got
Let's
to.
do it.
Yes.
Men's or women's first?
Women's.
Women's is tomorrow.
All right. Women's first, ladies first. I like it.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
So Final
First
Four is
gentlemen.
here. You got UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas. I'm cool with this. I like this. Like I look at all four of these teams. I think they're phenomenal. I haven't really watched a whole lot of them, but I did watch the Elite Eight matchups, and I was like, all right, this is for sure the four best teams. Obviously, they won, but just how they looked, I'm excited for these matchups. Paige Buckets, I want to see her get that ring, cut down the net. You could say the same thing. You know, Dawn said what she's done at South Carolina. Like that's been awesome. UCLA feel like they came out of nowhere this year. Texas has been on that cusp for the past couple years. I feel like they finally get the breakthrough. I think all four of these programs have a good story. You guys watch a little more women's hoops than me, so I'm curious to see how you guys dive into it.
I think it's wild how like with women's there's not really that many upsets. Like if a team is good, they're gonna be good consistently, which you for whatever reason you can't get that with men's basketball because all of these going into the postseason were pretty good teams. And like you could have thought in the beginning, in the middle of the season that these teams were gonna go far. The only one that I'm surprised actually no, never mind. I was about to say the only one I'm not surprised. Like a lot of teams just went as far as they were supposed to. Like Louisville, State, UNC, Duke went farther than what I thought they would. TCU, LSU kind of went farther than what I thought. So, Notre Dame too. So these are four good teams. I really expect the Final Four for this year to outweigh the Final Four. Well, seeing Caitlin Clark in the game kind of play, that was fun. But like on the competitive side, like the competition is across all teams. So it's not just like one standout player, it's a bunch of standout.
Yeah, I guess that's different than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, we're going to get into the men's hoops, but like, yeah, that's a good point, Devontae. Fitz, thoughts from you.
I'm trying to find the history here. I feel like Paige Beckers played against South Carolina in the championship. Maybe when she was a freshman.
Probably.
Maybe in her freshman year.
Who was it?
I was trying to look at the. So 2022, yep, South Carolina over UConn. But UConn was not as good as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had, then LSU over Iowa in 2023, then South Carolina over Iowa 2024. So Beckers is trying to do something that Caitlin Clark didn't do, and that's win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And she already had a stab at it and came up short. But this is a different UConn team. I'm actually surprised they're favored right now. They're the favorite to win it.
Yeah, they are.
And I think people argue kind of, it's the Big East. That UConn's schedule's not as strong, so to speak. But they played South Carolina earlier this year, and UConn spanked them. They beat them. I can't remember how much they beat them by. I feel like they beat them by like 20 or 25. So I feel like the rematch is it has to happen that way. Like for South Carolina to get handled against Geno and UConn like that. I feel like those two teams are supposed to meet in the championship.
Yeah.
And then Paige, it's like a revenge tour. Can she get done what she came up shorter freshman year and go out as a champion? But you got to go through UCLA, Lauren Betts. So, I think that's UCLA still being there is no fluke. And Texas is like the team that I just don't know. I feel like Texas could be slept on, but they also just may not be very good. I feel like they're kind of the imposters, if you're going to say that, but they're in the Final Four and they were 1 seed. So I just feel like that's the team people really don't know a lot about.
And I'm on the super outside looking into this thing. I feel like UCLA was that dark horse where Texas was like, I feel like I've heard of them in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, the past couple of years, they've been chipping away. But a little bit more than me, so I like that. Now, Paige Beckers, did she tear her ACL in that national championship game? Or no?
It's a good question.
I feel like she got hurt in a big game.
She got hurt.
I thought it was a playoff game or something.
So maybe it was
great
before
question.
Okay.
I'll do my research.
Yeah. I think all four.
She tore it twice.
That is true. Yeah, she did. Man,
she became the third highest. Is that right? She's the third highest scoring UConn player.
That's crazy, history, dude.
Like with the injury,
the women's.
Yeah,
for the women's,
because she missed an entire year because of injury.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
She's only behind Maya Moore, who's no one's going to catch Maya Moore,
No.
and then I can't remember if it's it's Stewart, Brianna Stewart.
Oh yeah.
So it's Maya Moore, Brianna Stewart, Paige Beckers.
That's good company.
That's
hell
very good company.
All right, I guess let's do our picks. I have a feeling we'll say the same thing here, but I never know. South Carolina versus Texas. South Carolina's the favorite. Who do you guys take?
I guess I got to take South Carolina. I think Texas did beat them, so it's more or less like a revenge game. And I think the reason Texas beat them is because they're like a crock pot team. They're slow and low, and they're fairly consistent. And I think that's how they've had longevity in these playoff games and throughout the season, because you watch a game, you who was scored. I think their best scorer is Madison Booker, who's fairly young. So yeah, I can see it being like a low scoring game, but I think ultimately Dawn gives their girls a look and they pull the game out randomly.
Right. Man. And last time South Carolina Texas played, South Carolina beat them by almost 20 in the SEC tournament. Man.
Yeah. I'm going with South Carolina.
Yeah.
I actually think South Carolina should be the favorite right now. So that's what worries me. But yeah, they definitely get through. I think they handle Texas pretty well.
I'm on the same thing. They're 4.5-point favorites. I might hammer that -4.5. I think South Carolina probably puts a whooping on them. but crazy stuff happened. UConn, UCLA. UConn's an 8.5-point favorite. I'm not touching the spread, but I'll take UConn. I'll take Paige buckets all day.
8.5 points is crazy until like you watch the past few games they've been playing. I'll give it to them. Like some of the teams they've been playing, I was like, but I forgot what team they were playing. They were playing them close, and then like at the fourth quarter, they just like let's stop playing with them and just pulled away. Then they brought in the second not spittoon, but what's the word?
Like platoon.
Swap.
Yeah.
Swap. They had the second platoon, and they were getting buckets everywhere. So it's just like, shit. I'll take the spread. I'll take the UConn spread.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, UCLA, I feel like that's actually, as it's coming back to me, I feel like that's where they struggled against South Carolina back in 2022, is they didn't really have a true big that could handle. I'm trying to remember who their gal was in Columbia. I was there. Can't remember.
Was it Asia?
I think it was before her.
They got
Or
Leah Edwards.
Edwards sounds familiar.
That's the one that plays with Caitlin Clark now in Indiana.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Aaliyah Boston. Sorry, Aaliyah Boston.
Aaliyah Boston.
yeah.
That's who it was. Yes, Aaliyah Boston. Yep.
And I'm thinking,
Or Cordorza.
So when I saw, I saw this matchup, UCLA in the bracket, I was kind of hoping LSU would beat them or NC State. I actually thought Florida State would have been a sneaky dark horse because they had a big center there. So I do think that makes this a really interesting matchup. I think it's a really close game. Like, I think it could be won by a bucket or two. And I'm just gonna pick UConn. I think they do find a way, but I think it does give them a little scare before going to the championship.
Okay. All right. So championship tipping off Sunday. UConn, South Carolina. Who do you guys take?
UConn.
No.
I go back and forth. It depends on which day you ask me.
Yeah.
I would love that to be the final. That I just think historically right now, it's like UConn has been the team and are finally back, kind of like having a great year, and it's with a superstar, Paige Beckers. But this is Don Staley's era, and this is another true test. And they took care of Caitlin Clark last year, despite everyone saying, "Oh, Caitlin Clark's gonna get it done." As South Carolina slammed the door. I feel like they could do that to Paige, but I also think that Gino and UConn is so different from Iowa that I think it just makes it could be one of the greatest championships. Depends on what day you ask me. Right now, I would say South Carolina.
Okay. Man, this is great. I think it's great for the game. You got two of the best, probably the best programs. Obviously, UConn having decades of a run, but South Carolina, the past since 2010, 2015, they've been like consistently like the top tier. Like, this is awesome. I think it's awesome for the game. Give me UConn, give me Paige to kind of ride off in the sunset. I think that's a dope story. South Carolina goes on a revenge tour next year, but that's my pick. I like what you're saying though, Fitz. Flip a coin. Ask me tomorrow.
It's tough. I hope that's the championship, and I hope it lives up to the hype because I think it could be, and especially for South Carolina, for Don Staley to get blown out the way they did early in the season, like that's bulletin board material.
Oh yeah,
like that's not going to happen in the second meeting. So I hope it's a really good game.
I'm with you. Absolutely. All right. Men's Final Four. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. San Antonio. Thankfully, no one has to ride a bus there. We get to watch it from our couch. Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn. I'm ecstatic for it. I'm pumped for it. If you ask me, I think the winner comes from that game to my bottom left here, Duke and Houston. I think those are probably the top two teams left. Florida and Auburn have had their holes, but I think it'll be a good matchup too. Thoughts from you guys just to get to the Final Four before we do our picks.
Yeah, I think because of NIL, men's basketball, even though like it's not as consistent, like a number one is not really gonna get beat. But because of NIL, a lot of the big name teams are actually like, you try to be different with your bracket. More than likely, all of our shits are busted. Shout out to Bracket Busters t-shirts that we had back in the day and whatnot. But now, like, I
Bring
mean,
them
they
back.
don't like. Apparently, I'm trying to think. So there are a lot of developed players like Walter Clayton from Florida. He came from a smaller school. It was still D1, but he was a 0-star recruit and developed. Janab Broom, I don't know where he came from, but interestingly enough, everybody on Auburn's starting squad except for Tahat Pettiford is like our age. So it's like, is this really fair? We don't know, but everybody on Duke's team is basically a high schooler. So it's interesting how basketball has come. But pretty much we could have seen, like we said, for the Final Four for the women's, we saw for the Final Four for the men's, like how well all four of these teams have done. They haven't really fell off. The only time I thought Duke fell off was when they played NC State close at their home court. I don't know what that was about, but like they super bounced back from that. Houston has been super consistent. It's good to see them where they are now. So I don't know.
Fitz is doing research.
I'm doing more research. Yeah, I mean, Houston's the team that I have fallen in love with in the past, maybe since 2021. I think that was when they started to be really good with Kelvin Sampson.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Houston was my pick to win last year, and Jamal Shedd got hurt against Duke in the Sweet 16, and they only lost by 3. But I said, man, if Shedd didn't get hurt, I felt like the Cougars were on their way. And what's funny is he was the only player that left after last season, and they went in the transfer portal. They got that guard who just hit the game winner to get him here. That guy from Oklahoma. I actually think he might be better than Shedd. He's pretty dope. So I like Houston. I think they have the storied season. Like, yeah, Duke on paper is better, and those players will go on to be NBA superstars. But right now, Houston can stand on business, and I think they can take them down. But I do think Duke's better. So I that's one I flip back and forth, kind of like I did with UConn, South Carolina. I'm pulling for Houston, and I think their seniority. I've been waiting for someone to just take Duke out just based on their experience alone, and Houston's one of those teams. So I would take Houston, and then the other side, that's a toss-up as well. So I think it could be a great Final Four. Maybe it's because everyone thought it was going to be Duke Auburn. I don't think I can go totally against the grain and say Florida Houston. So I'll say Auburn Houston.
Just
because I think Auburn's favored.
I like how Fitz just dove right into picks. Like, story leading up to Final Four, he's like, no, we're doing this. Rip the Band-Aid off. I like it, Fitz.
I like how it seems like Houston is one of the few few D1 teams that play the style of basketball we were kind of accustomed to seeing, like from I guess to the 2000s up till maybe I don't know who was shooting from crazy. I guess when JJ Redick came around. So a little bit after that, and then Steph Curry came around, and now everybody's starting to shoot. So Houston basically has a balance between the inside-out game, and for whatever reason, a lot of teams had a hard time trying to adjust to that. But I think for Duke, because they have all that length and youth, like they don't really get tired. And Houston has been running the court with a lot of 30-year-old men that somehow had 8th-year eligibility. Like I think
they're not 30; they're like 23.
I think that dude Chad Baker Mazar is like 27, and I'm 33. So I'm thinking, like, where was I at in 27? When I was 27, that was 27. That was 29.
Maybe.
All right,
Yeah.
Devontae,
But-
we're back. We're live. Sorry about that.
Maybe.
All right,
Yeah.
Devontae,
But-
we're back. We're live. Sorry about that.
You're good. But yeah, back live. Duke has the length and probably the energy to keep up with Houston. I think Houston plays them close, but ultimately Duke pulls away, probably due to foul trouble. Feel like due to foul trouble. Now on the other end, I do not want to see Auburn play for a championship. Get them out of here. There's no real reason why. I hate Janai Broom's name. That's like an internal thing I got going. And it's like not the only reason why. I just don't think they should be this far because none of the starters can actually score. So I guess they get far based on defense or something. So hopefully Florida's offense takes a turn for the better. And it ends up being Duke, Florida, and your boys in blue, the real blue, take it away. Bring it back to the good old North State.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I think Duke and Houston's a close game. FanDuel and I think DraftKings have it as a 5.5 point game. I might not touch the spread on that, but I do think it's a close game. But I'll take Duke, and I love that Fitz is going against Duke because he was all in on the Bama train, and then Duke waxed that ass on Bama. So like,
Yeah,
keep it up, Fitz. Keep the energy.
I'll be
like it for
honest.
my
I
boys.
do think it's gonna be Duke Auburn.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, like
The
way this whole bracket's been,
I know, right? The
why
two
wouldn't
best
it be
teams.
the top two teams?
Yeah. Everybody's laughing at Scott Van Pelt, and he's like, "All right, fuck you guys." Look, truly that. On the other side, I want to go Florida so bad, but these guys met earlier this year only once. Florida being by 9 points. I guarantee you that's in the back of Auburn's head. That's like just extra motivation, just extra little oomph to get them over there. So give me Auburn to win. As bad as I want to take Florida, I'll give Auburn, and then give me Duke to tie UNC, and then everybody's still chasing UCLA for national championships. My pick. I do want to get y'all's, and maybe this teases into the pub parlay a little bit. Duke Houston game point is at 135.5. I like the over there. I think both these teams can get up in the 70s and score.
Yeah. But then, like, what if they slow play it? Like, Duke has to play the – I always think of stuff like that whenever I look at the totals because Duke can score, and apparently they hadn't really been scoring below, like, 80 the entire season.
Yeah.
So, like, even then, if they score 80 and Houston scores, like, 70, that's still, like, 150. So, whoever is a betting person, go ahead and take that over just based off of trends and math and stuff. But
that's what I've been looking at.
But if it's wrong, I didn't give it to you.
Yeah, that's fair. Fitz gave
What's
it
the
to us.
points at? 137?
135. And that feels super low.
135. That does feel low.
Because I'm
I
with
was
Devontae.
thinking
Duke's
if
been
it-
putting up buckets.
If it's 66 to 71, that's over. I think it's over.
137.
Going back to when y'all said Houston made the Final Four, they had Marcus Sasser, who's a pro right now, Jamal Sheed, so who we were just talking about, Jawan Roberts, who's actually a senior. That's the one that had Kelvin Sampson crying. So he's actually playing still. Like he'll be playing in that game. Quentin Grimes.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You got this experience.
Quentin
You got
Grimes.
dudes that have been here.
Reggie Chaney, who was the guy that passed, I think, last year, or maybe not the year before.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, those were the players they had. So they had a squad.
Dude, yeah. I think there is something to be said about experience, but I don't know, man. If this year's taught us anything, if you got talent, fuck your experience. Like in the nicest way, you know.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
I'm
to say
just
that March
ready. I
Madness.
think someone could take him down. I think it can.
It's that Tar Heel Blue and you, Roy Williams.
I know
on your
those.
shoulder.
I know those freshmen are good, but it's hard to win at Natty.
Yeah,
It's
I can see
hard.
Roy Williams talking through using as a puppet. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
I am reading his book. I've got his book somewhere.
Yeah, is it good?
Yeah, I'm reading it again. I got it right here.
I will tell you, my favorite like
in my bag.
Cameron Crazy moment is when Roy came from Kansas to UNC and they all dressed up as Wizard of Oz characters and told him he's not in Kansas anymore. I was like, that's a good Cameron Crazy moment. Hard work. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good book.
It's a great book. It really is.
Listen to Audible of it. I can't read, so I gotta.
He talks about Buddy Baldwin. He taught us Driver Ed.
Dude, Buddy
and
is
Hackey.
fucking crazy, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Buddy, but he was wild. Old as shit. Dude, my cousin, he taught my cousin how to drive. My cousin's like 10 or 12 years older. And then he's on the interstate. And Brandon, my cousin Brandon's driving, and Buddy Baldwin just passes out, just falls asleep in the passenger car. And Brandon just keeps on driving. They end up in Tennessee. They end up in Gatlinburg.
Oh my
And Buddy wakes up. He
God.
goes, "Where are we?" He goes, "I think we're in Gatlinburg." And he goes, "Well, I guess just turn it around, man." Old school.
Oh my God. Man.
Oh man.
No, it's cool. It's a cool book if you haven't read it. He talks about like when Roy Williams was at Owen and he had to face Buddy at Robertson, and they called each other every night, and just the whole thing. It's really cool. It's just I'm halfway through.
It's cool to be like from that pocket, like where we are, like Owen and Rod. Like it's just cool to like see your hometown represented. He did so well. He's got a cool story. I'm with you. I like it in the book. All right. Round up across the league. We're starting with the torpedo bats. I fucking love these bats. Give me all the home runs. I think we said it when we first started the podcast 5 years ago, was give these guys HGH, give them the juice. I want to see dingers. This is entertainment. And like, I don't know how no other team has figured this out. Like they haven't hired a nerd from MIT, another Moneyball situation. Like it's legal. It's a legal bat. They just figured out, hey, let's put the most surface area of the bat in the highest contact area instead of make it completely the same all around. That's genius. How has no one else thought about this?
Yeah.
And if I'm to the New York Yankees, I'm copywriting that motherfucker. And like, oh, you want to try to use my torpedo bat? Okay. You're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to give me those bats. Like you're the evil empire. You might as well own that. I love this thing, man.
Imagine if they brought back like diet steroids along with these. That'd be cool.
Yes.
Yes,
Devontae.
20. All right, like please tell me like the whole locker room and bullpen got a little post-it note saying, what hang tight, buddy. Like how cops pull you over, hang tight, buddy. All of them should have got that post-it note that saying. And if they didn't, we gonna know something. Because 20, I ain't gonna lie, I would have been called in a bomb threat or something. By 10, 12, yeah, like everybody's got to evacuate, bro. 20 is crazy. So, but if that's what torpedo bats bring, if we getting like the over on runs all the time, shoot, I'm with it.
Dude, 19 home runs this year. Opening day just happened. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, some pressure.
I can't wait for the Moneyball movie to come out for this.
Torpedo bats. That's a great name, torpedo bat.
It is, right? This reminds me of something like Nerf. Like we used to play with the kids.
Yeah,
just the way it's designed.
The one that was basically a 2-liter bottle on top of a foam stick.
Exactly.
Is that what that like? What is like? What's the science behind this?
They just condensed the wood, but they just put a bigger surface area for the wood in the highest contact area.
Is that okay? Like,
yeah. So if you look at it, it's kind of a chode-esque, right?
I'm looking at it like,
really small.
Yeah,
it gets girthy back to small, but where the girth is, that's the contact area.
The sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot. Like so, like just right in there, that girth, and just right in that area.
So it's science.
Yeah, you might have to get 2 hands on that thing. Get right there.
So it really is like a 2-liter bottle on top of a freaking paper towel holder.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I mean, for real.
It repeats itself, bro. Like everybody got it off the sidewalk in the dirt. What do you call it? The vacant lots, the sand lot.
The vacant lot. That's the Dollar General version of sand
lot. Vacant lot is a Hey Arnold episode.
That's.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Classic.
Also, this whole thing has taught me that teams make their own bats. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So, dude, shout out. I don't like to give the Yankees too many flowers, but it's pretty awesome.
I wonder, like baseball, you don't really think of science or people associated with science with baseball. So I'm wondering, like, who came up with this? Like, what intern did they have? Or,
They got a guy from MIT.
of course.
Hmm.
Tell
See if I
me,
can find his name real quick.
Nerds and baseball.
the world isn't ready. So now somebody in the NFL has to come. Some MIT has to come to the NFL and figure out a cleat that molds to the foot and won't like cause, you know what I'm saying, like that stiffness and stuff that molds to the ankle. Since they won't give them grass fields, they got to do something. Just like they can't get steroids, they got torpedo bats. So what's next for football? Because they can't keep changing the rules. We got to do something with the equipment now.
Man, that's a good question. Maybe we do. Oh shit, I don't know, man. Do you make the ball smaller? Do you condense it?
Mhm.
Now you can just rip it 100 yards, but now it's a smaller target to catch.
You can't see it. Then they're gonna have to have all the fields domed or something.
Oh. What if we go glow in the dark?
Nerf.
Nerf.
Like, keep in mind, like we were teenagers, we had been playing with older, like pro size footballs, and we still had fun with a Nerf ball. But that was how you learned about the triangle in the hand. So back to basics,
That's how you learned, Devontae?
bro. Look at my hand.
God,
Like-
I know you got some big ass hands. I'm just
It's
saying,
all
like,
palm. It's all palm. Like I guess my fingers are long too, but that's all palm. So I had to get the triangle right and learn how to catch with my fingers. So
shout out Coach
all
Willis.
palm.
He cut off these tennis balls, and he had like string attached to it, and so he'd put half the tennis ball on your palm, another half on this palm, and so you had to catch with fingertips. That's how we had to learn the triangle of like.
That's real. That's old school. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, I've never seen it ever, nor do I feel like putting the work in to create that.
Mm.
But shout out Coach Willis, he did it. All right, I guess the NBA news. We'll start with Melo. We'll start with the old news. First ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not surprised. I think it's well deserved. I love to see it. He's always one of the guys that I wish could have won a ring. Because he never won one.
Nope.
Shout out George Karl. That's a top tier hater right there, to the point where him and Jokic have, like, somebody did ask, they were like, which jersey is going up in the rafters? And obviously Melo's is going up. It has to go up first.
Yeah.
Then it's like having two number 15s is crazy, and it's all because of George Karl.
Yeah,
hate-
man.
You know what? F Kobe Karl too. While we had it, he didn't do much, but he also didn't add anything to the team. So F him too.
And what a beef that was. I'm glad you brought that up, but like he pissed the Nuggets away. You had Melo, you had AI, like you had
And yeah, Martin.
like you had it, and then his ego got too big for him. That's like, man, that's shitty. But then New York gets Melo, and it's like, all right, they have it, and they just never could. They had Stoudemire, they had Linsanity. It just never.
But it was the coaching. Like, I forgot, who did they have? Mike
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. So like all these old heads, like Larry Brown was the one that hated on AI for like dressing how he wanted to, and then he told on him to David Stern. David Stern made everybody pay. So they thought to bring Larry Brown to New York to the same guys he would have judged and not understood. And look what happened. I mean, they were good by themselves, but I think that was just strictly off the talent. So when you get to the playoffs, you kind of have to have some sort of coaching. And Larry's too old, bro. It won't Bad Boys in Detroit no more. Shit, even they were like damn near 30 or something at the time.
Exactly.
Hey, since we're talking about Final Fours and national championships, Carmelo Anthony is one of 3 players that come up on Chat GTP or whatever AI. That freshman to win the national championship.
Yeah.
So yeah, Melo. But Melo, I was gonna say, this ties into Cooper Flagg with Naismith. Because I thought Melo was also a Naismith Player of the Year, but he wasn't. TJ Ford won
Oh shoot.
that year. But there is one player who was a freshman who won Naismith Player of the Year who also won the national title. Do you know who that is? Since Cooper Flagg was just named Naismith Player of the Year. So Flagg could join the
Right.
list and make it 2, but right now there's only one player to ever do it. And it wasn't Melo.
That would have been my guess.
I'm thinking a Duke player. Is it another Duke player?
Nope.
Oh, well, then. Shit. That would be UConn then, right?
Nope.
Damn. Oh.
Yeah, I'm only thinking men. I didn't even look at women.
Dude, I
Oh,
don't know.
Think
It was an era.
yeah, I think blue blood. It's a blue blood. You know it. They're still in the
Oh.
league. Huh?
Paul Pierce?
Nope.
Yeah.
They're still playing. They're in the NBA right now.
Shit. Oh. Oh, nah. That was dumb. I was about to say Chris Paul, but hell no. Still playing in the league right now.
Dude, I'm drawing a blank. What position?
He was traded in a blockbuster trade this year.
Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis.
He did.
He was
Really?
the only freshman to be named Naismith Player of the Year and win the Natty.
He did win the Natty that year.
I didn't realize he was that good as a freshman, though. But I guess he was a one and done.
Oh, he was nuts. He was the best player in the country.
Yeah.
I think we were stuck on like how he looked in general because you remember back then he was like super skinny and he had like
Yeah.
his eyebrow was like heavier than his whole
The
body.
unibrow, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's like
Sorry, I've been bad doing trivia. I give away the obvious. Like I should have told you Melo. I could have teased it like it was Melo, but
Yeah, because I definitely would have guessed Melo. Because I do remember him winning Natty with
that was the time.
Boeheim.
Boeheim. Man.
But it's funny. Like there were a lot of players. Kevin Durant was a freshman who won the Naismith, but he didn't win a Natty.
Right. I think they made the Final Four.
There were a few other freshmen who won the Player of the Year, but they didn't win it all.
Oh, man. Well, all right. Devontae was just talking about how kid looks. I'm looking at Trae Young right now. He's having a quiet heater of a season. I think that's how Devontae put it in the group chat. Like, just kind of on fire, but no one's really talking about him. He looks like Delonte West. I hope he has a better pan out than Delonte West.
Yeah. I think he had like 830 plus assists, and the next person up is at 669. And I think I want to say that 669 is from Yoke, who is probably not necessarily the clear-cut MVP, but who should be MVP. But it sucks again to say Fitz might be highly disappointed, but like I only really know that he's doing well is because of like betting. Like I'm looking at who's PR
Oh God.
take, and I think it's the King of the Court on DraftKings. No, no ad, pay us first. But like they have the King on the Court, and like I'm looking to see like who has the highest I do PRA, and it's usually between Cade Cunningham, Luka, and I didn't know it had been between Trae Young too. So he won me some money just off of PRA off the Hornets game, I believe. I think he had 25, 11, and 12 or something like that, or maybe more. But it was one game where he went like 8 for 16 from scoring, but he had 25 points. So they gave him that many free throws or something.
Wow.
But it's like you look at the Hawks right now, you think they should. On paper, they look good. They got Dyson Daniels still in everything. Onyeka Onwuku, he's pretty good. DeAndre Hunter got moved, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Or is he still there? I don't know. Either way, like the Hawks look good on paper, but it's just not coming together. They keep losing in regular Atlanta fashion. You got the Falcons, Braves, and Hawks all losing in the exact same way. And I don't know like what type of Native American burial plot Atlanta is on right now, but it's finally starting to hit for sure.
It's the same one Cincinnati's on, so don't worry, Devontae. I just read a stat that the Reds have outplayed all their opponents, like in hits and like fielding percentages, but we're still losing. just like the Bengals who outplayed people, except we find a way to fucking lose at the end. That's just Cincinnati. That's Atlanta. Bad franchises, bad sports towns stick together, Devontae.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the club, brother.
Sad.
Yeah. Fitz doesn't understand it, but one day he won't, because I don't pray this on anybody. Don't you put that evil on me, rookie Bobby. Don't you do it. All right. Pub parlay. Let's make some money. We fell short last week. That's
By
okay.
all legs or two?
Yeah, it was all legs. I wasn't going to bring it up.
Dang.
It was all of us.
Gosh.
Hand up. But it's a new week. That's all right, boys. New week. It's Thursday. We're close to the weekend. We're closer to our bets than we ever have been.
Okay.
That's the way I'm looking at it. So whatever day you guys want. As you guys are doing that, just some news, right? Geno Smith reached a $75 million extension for 2 years. I feel like the Raiders overpaid him a little bit, but you know, everybody makes a bet.
I don't know about that.
Trey McBride, 4 years, $76 million. He gets paid the highest tight end. Not
Wow.
that either. But he's pretty good. So
Yeah.
shout out to those boys making their money.
Damn.
Uh-oh.
What day we going with?
You guys tell me. Want to go Saturday?
Hey, you got to. So much to bet on. We haven't even talked about college baseball, I believe, but I don't know what's been happening. Oh, well, I do know both Duke and ECU's coach got tossed out of that game, even though nobody swore. I don't know like how that happened.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of four-letter words being thrown at each other.
And
Oh gosh.
that words mean things, but at the same time, if we
Liberty lost on a one-pitch game
wow.
because their pitcher wasn't on the roster.
Yeah. Which is that hacky. Well, we out now. You remember that time there was somebody on roster who was a starter who actually it was more than a somebody. It was people on roster that hadn't had a physical. And we found out the day of the game, and somebody had to go take them to get a physical the day before the game.
That sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
can't confirm.
Can't confirm, but that was a story. I seen it. I heard it. And I was like, there's no way. But then when I heard the Liberty story, I was reminded of that. And I was like, you know what? Accidents somehow can happen.
Yep. And you know what? There's rumors that other teams that I've been a part of have done that. So
I genuinely don't like paperwork is just not real in sports until like they want it to be real. If we really being real, it's not real.
I'm with you. 100% I'm with you. There's some stories I could tell once statute of limitations run out. Anyways. All right, Saturday. Let's do Saturday. I'm taking the Carolina Hurricanes. They're on the road to Boston Bruins. The Bruins, I think they're beat up. They're just an old franchise. They're not as fresh. Carolina just clinched their 7th straight year going to the playoffs. I think they're trying to improve their seeding. Give me Carolina money line to beat Boston in Boston.
Ooh. I'm gonna stay away from college basketball just to
What day are we doing?
Saturday.
Just to keep it
Saturday.
Oh, you do that, Fitz. I heard all that typing. I thought
I'm looking at Saka.
soccer.
footy.
I might take. Let me see what is Aston Villa, Nottingham. I'm gonna take. Oh, that's interesting.
Pretty
I'll
good.
take Nottingham Forest. I think that's a good pick.
I feel like Nottingham's been pretty good this year too.
They're good. It's at Nottingham Forest, right?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, we'll do Nottingham Forest money line or draw. I like how DraftKings does that
Yeah.
because I hate soccer that ends in draws and you
Mhm.
lose your money. So Nottingham win or draw.
Yeah.
Love it.
Shoot, I'll go with the pros. Give me Let's see, where is it at? Next Hawks. You know what? Give me Hawks money line for Saturday over the Knicks. I'm gonna see if they make me eat my words.
Hawks money line over the Knicks, which I kind of like. The Knicks, every time I've been on the Knicks, they let me down. So I like this, Devontae. All right. There it is. Hurricanes money line, Nottingham Forest money line or draw, Hawks money line. That's the pub parlay going in the weekend Saturday. Put a little money on it. We'll put a couple bucks on it. It's going to hit. It's got to hit. It's been like 15 weeks since we got a hit, boys. This is it. I can feel it. I'm feeling my plums. All right. We're going to question. Anybody got one?
Who we got? I got one because this is random, of course. I just thought about it. So like, you know how like you get sick off of food or whatever? What's one food that you don't eat to this day because you ate it and got sick? But it wasn't the food like itself. It wasn't that it was nasty. It was just like something was wrong with the food. So like I'll start. For the longest time, I didn't eat baked potatoes because I ate one and I threw up, but it wasn't a baked potato. I just already had a stomach virus. But like I was afraid to eat a baked potato. A baked potato and baked chicken, matter of fact, because I threw up and I was like, baked potatoes make me sick, but it wasn't that.
I get that.
I didn't eat hamburgers for a long time.
Like
Really?
with no cheese or just
I just didn't like hamburgers for some reason.
oh.
And I think what the problem was like when I was a kid, my parents would just take a patty like with cheese and just like cut it up for me, and I didn't like it like just by itself.
Yeah.
So I never really had a hamburger. I was just like, I don't like that. But it wasn't until I was in college. I came back from I was working a retreat that weekend, and I was at church, and the pastor made burgers, and that's all they had. It was like burgers and watermelon. And I was like, well, I'm really hungry. So I just did it. And I made like a burger with like tomato and lettuce and all the fixings. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I was like, I actually like this. But for a long time, I don't know.
What the hell did you get at Cookout?
I just didn't get. I'd get chicken or something.
That's what I do now. But I remember before I stopped eating meat, my Cookout order was a big double burger tray out west style with a ranch wrap and a Cajun wrap and a sweet. It used to be $6.67.
Oh my god!
Probably gonna be like $12 now.
Hold up. We're not going to skate by this. You say before you stop eating meat?
No, stop eating red meat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm not that real. I did do that for like a week and it was cool, but that shit is expensive. Like not eating meat, it gets expensive.
It's stupid expensive, yeah.
Heck, what's yours?
All right. So one time I was probably like fourth or fifth grade. Lord of the Rings just came out. It was after school. I was already feeling a little sick in the stomach, but I was like, I'm gonna watch some Lord of the Rings. This is gonna be good. And my parents bought these Sam Club, almost like McRib knockoffs. You just put in the microwave, take them out, you eat them. And I was like, I'm about to eat this with a lot like Lord of the Rings going on. This is gonna be dope. It's gonna be a great after school me session, just vibing. I took one bite and just projectile vomited, and I never wanted to see like a McRib sandwich or anything like that ever again.
So like to this day.
To this day, I tried. I got to the McDonald's drive-thru and I was like, I'm gonna get a McRib. They're back. I'm gonna do one. I got there and I was like, I'll have a black coffee and some fries. And I couldn't do it. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it.
Damn, that's actually.
I just realized I think my actual one is Domino's. I won't eat Domino's for like that similar experience, just a bad experience. I just will not eat Domino's pizza.
Man, I love some thin crust Domino's.
I remember
I get it.
The most recent time I had like a 24-hour stomach bug. Like I knew I had to throw up, but it just wouldn't come out. And so like I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling my phone, and it was just like a random. You know what? It's probably like somewhere tucked in my subconscious, but there was a video of somebody like doing something with the potato. Like they were making something with the potato, and for some reason that clicked, and it made me yak. But like I will say I'm not scared to eat baked potatoes, but like it kind of takes a lot for me to eat them. Like they do look cool, you know, and aesthetically, but I don't know, bro. It's in the back of my mind, like don't do it, bro. Somebody for it.
Don't you eat that baked potato? Wow, that's funny. Hey, it was a good episode. Viewers and watchers, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys next week for our national champ celebration and move into Masters talk.
Masters.
Also, might have a special guest coming on next week.
Man, if Houston wins, Jim Nance is gonna be so hyped because he's from Houston.
He's gonna
the Masters. He's gonna be dialed up.
I'd love it. All right, y'all be good. Oh, I don't know what I just did.
You guys really are cowboys.
What's your problem, Kazansky?
You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Ice, man. I am dangerous.
First time on air. Anything to say to Lawan here to get him back?
Look, bro, there are stories I could tell people about Lawan, but we'll keep those right here. I'm gonna let them live.
That's not even close. It's not
Man, I'm a dumbass.
I'm clipping that.
Georgia's second. Georgia's second.
Hey, Georgia also had Herschel Walker.
So smart, and my team is so dumb. My coach he looks dumb. He's a big baby. This
Dude,
man,
those graphics.
Rip, so smart.